Kalosirtate, namaskar, and welcome. We're glad that you're joining our first philanthropy cooking demonstration. Our second greeting was in Bengali, because this is a fundraiser for an orphanage of 150 children on the outskirts of Kolkata, India. To learn more about this outreach, see FILI-inc.com. I'll put the link in the chat box below. On that note, if you have any questions, please enter them in the chat box below and we can answer them. I'll be muting everyone so that we can avoid background noise. And also please keep your Zoom settings to speaker mode, not gallery. I'll be spotlighting different cameras so that you can have the best viewing experience. So sit back, take notes, or cook in your own home along with us. Our first demonstration is Elsie Saba. We will learn the best techniques for Spanakopita. Elsie will be followed by Dimitra Gousi, who will teach us how to make baklava. Let's get started on our first demonstration. Elsie, take it away. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues right in the beginning, so I'll dictate what's going on. We added 2 cups of frozen organic spinach, which you take out of the freezer the night before to let it drain and squeeze out the water. You add half a cup of chopped dill, half a cup of chopped parsley, 1 cup of chopped scallions or green onions, and about 1/4 cup of olive oil. Then you add a pound of feta. You can add more or less according to your liking, lemon juice, salt, and pepper to taste. We also added sumac and pepper flakes because we enjoy the flavor it adds. It adds a little bit of spice and a little bit of a different flavor, but that is optional. You can add it if you'd like. We set that mixture to the side after mixing it all together, and now we are prepping the Fillo dough. And this is where we noticed we were muted, so back to the normal program.
Hello? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I was saying that when I start doing the phyllo, I try not to be distracted with any other thing and not to leave it too long because it can dry and it's going to be very hard to work with. First of all, I brush my Pyrex with a little bit of the melted butter that I have. And then, like I said before, I have about 24 sheets of phyllo, which I try to do 1/3 at the bottom, so around 9 leaves at the bottom, and then the rest on the top, because I need a nice layer to hold the filling, but I need the volume of the phyllo on top to be larger and to give more kind of a better look at ending look at the end. So I take one phyllo at a time, and this is the part that you need to be patient. And as you see, I layer it with one edge to the edge of the Pyrex, and now the rest is hanging over. And that I do because I need to fold those extra leaf hanging onto the filling when I put the filling in. And this way it will make a nice edge at the sides that the Spanakopita, the spinach is going to be all enveloped in those phyllos that I have. So we keep doing this. And don't worry if it's a little bit wrinkled, it's all gonna become one great dish at the end. And all this is not gonna show. What's gonna show is the top layers. So. I use butter. Many people use only olive oil, but I feel that butter works better for this because in my experience, butter is 20% whey and 80% fat. So the whey is like water, which when it evaporates while it's baking, it pushes the phyllos away from each other, and it creates better crispiness into the end result. So
we just got a question. Could you repeat what's in the film?
In
Mixture,
here,
yeah.
there is melted butter and tiny bit of olive oil, like a tablespoon of olive oil for every stick of butter. So I have 2 sticks in this bowl, which it's not going to be used completely. I just do it because I don't want to stop my working and then melt more. So it's normally it takes about 1.5 sticks of butter and about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. That is all mixed together. And in the winter, when butter becomes hard fast because of the cool weather, if you don't heat your house too warm, which I hate to do, I like it to be on the cool side, I have a little, candle light at the bottom, which keeps the butter melted. So now this is, this is my last sheet here. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna brush the sides, and then I'm gonna pour the filling in. And like you see, it's pretty much a lot of filling, which we like. It's the nutrient part of the whole dish.
Can you repeat how much spinach?
Yeah, I have 2 pounds of frozen spinach that I defrost in a sieve. You can defrost it overnight in the fridge in a sieve with a bowl to catch all the liquid. And then you squeeze out the liquid with between your palms, just like that, until all the liquid goes out and you have dry spinach. Now, like you see, I'm gonna fold those, and this way all the spinach filling stays within the phyllo dough. Now I'm gonna just butter a little bit here so it gets also crispy and puffy while baking, and I'm gonna continue to do my layering. Now pay attention to this here. This here, I took the phyllo in the width. See the long part, the white part is on the dish, and this way it makes the phyllo look much cleaner and neater. So we do this, and we continue.
There was a question, where can you buy the phyllo dough? Most of the ones I have seen in grocery stores are very brittle and you're not able to open them up completely.
True. So stores that don't sell too much phyllo, they will have older, almost about to expire phyllo doughs, which you will need to avoid. And Safeway and Albertson and all the American markets, I think, the case is the same. So I'd rather buy them from a Mediterranean store. In Almaden, there is one Mediterranean store at the plaza where Costco is, just side by side near Trader Joe. I bought it from there, this one that I'm using right now. There is also on Kurtner and Union International Food Bazaar, it's called. Yeah, they have quite few brands, actually, not only one brand. That's why I mentioned the number. So you need about number 4 for Spanakopita.
And I never had a problem with Safeway. Actually.
I never bought from Safeway.
Oh. I always buy there.
Yeah.
And I never have a problem.
Yeah, I normally do have casual shopping at the Mediterranean store, so I find it easy.
You have to defreeze it, right? But
this is
This is what I buy at Safeway, and it's pretty good. but it doesn't
Yeah,
have
sure.
sizes. It's 18 sheets in here, and that's what I use.
So
It's
this
a
is the
little
thicker.
It's
Yeah.
thicker, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So that also I need to mention, when you buy Fillo, make sure that you buy it frozen from the freezer at the store, and then don't go shopping other places and keep it in the car until it defrosts. When it does, the water is gonna icicles are gonna melt, and it's gonna make the dough stick to each other. Then when you arrive home and you freeze it again, you'll have and eventually you bring it out to use it, or even if you're gonna use it immediately, if it was in the sun in extreme heat, it's gonna be one clunk of dough. It's not gonna be layered anymore. So Fillo dough is best to be defrosting in the fridge, from the freezer to the fridge to use, and but don't leave it in a hot areas.
How many layers do you put on top and on the bottom? About.
So if I had, it's approximately 24 sheets. So normally I do about 9 sheets or 10 sheets at the bottom and the rest on the top. And I'll show you when we get there, the last few sheets. I also do some little trick with it to give it more volume and to have a better finished looking Spanakopita at the end. Now I also like to flip the whole sheets over, because normally the one at the very bottom is the one that was surrounding all the rest inside, and many times you find it to be the driest. So since it's the driest, I don't want to use it as the final leaf to give me the perfect look at the end. So I try to use the ones that are brittle and broken, if there are any in a package, which sometimes you do get those too, to use them within the parts that are not going to be the final look.
So we have a few questions. What is the black colored seasoning again? I think
it's not black, it's burgundy, it's wine color. You can show close up if you like. It's sumac, S-U-M-A-C. It's a berry, type of a berry. It's related to poison ivy, but it's not poison at all. It's known for its medicinal
and it's optional, right?
It's optional. It's just, it adds a little bit more tang without the liquid of the lemon, because I want my filling to be as dry as possible, so it doesn't get me a soggy result at the end. It is optional. And the pepper flakes are not normally in any Greek Spanakopita recipe, but we tend to like a little tang and the spice in ours, so I add a little bit.
Okay, and we had a few more questions. How much butter did you melt?
I melted 2 sticks.
And
Two
you
sticks.
still, you can see,
Yeah,
you can see on the camera, but we still have quite a bit.
I still have a lot. It's not going to be used, not all of it. So normally you're going to be using about 1.5 sticks plus 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil, because I do mix my butter with, olive oil a little bit.
And then another question, if I'm not baking it today, how do I wrap it so it doesn't dry and freeze?
Oh, it freezes greatly. I always have them in my freezer just for the occasional, guests that I get sometimes. I'll show you how at the end I will tuck the edges into the Pyrex, and I will cut it to the portions that I like it to be cut, because this is the time that you cut phyllo dough, because if you bake it as a whole without pre-scoring it, you're gonna have broken surface at the end, and it's not gonna look great. So you cut it, and then I saran wrap it with saran wrap really, really well to make sure that I have no air seeping in at any time. And then I also bag it into a freezer kind of bag that I get, and close it, and then just freeze it for up to even 2 months. It's gonna be fine. But when you want to bake it, if it's in a Pyrex, it's best if you take it out about 15 minutes sitting on the counter for the Pyrex not to crack when you put it in a hot oven from a frozen state. So keep it about 15 minutes on the counter, and then put it in a pre-heated oven of 350 degrees up to 375 degrees. I do it convection bake, and it takes, in my oven, it takes about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the, you know, on each person's oven. My oven takes a little longer, but if it's frozen, it's gonna take a little longer to bake than normal, than fresh. So it's gonna take about an hour to have that golden result at the end.
And then we had another question. When you're folding it over, it looks like the second half does not go all the way on the pan. Does
So
that
here we
mean
go.
there's less phyllo on that?
Yes, true. But what I do, I alternate. One time I put the phyllo on this side, the other time I put it on the other side. So you have even amounts all the time. Now I have at the last 2 sheets, if you see the 2 sheets, now the 1 sheet, I'm gonna hold it like that big, and I'm gonna just crunch it, crumble it, and let it be like airy a little bit, like not very smooth. And that is gonna give some volume and oomph. And now I put my last bit of butter, and now the last sheet, I put it really nice and smooth, like a really nice ironed bed sheet on top to cover everything and all the misperfections that we have at inside of this. And when you tuck your dough like this, you take the back of the knife, see the back, not the sharp part, the back part, and you can tuck, sliding the knife at the edge of your Pyrex, just like that, to tuck all the dough, as if you're tucking sheet in a bed, of course. Just tucking it in. And this way, you have a completed result of, you know, final, straight, looking great Spanakopita. Now at this point, we're gonna score it. If you're doing hors d'oeuvres, you can score smaller pieces. If you're doing it just, you know, for normal appetizing pieces, I cut all the way through 2/3 in the Pyrex size. And then about this much. And I put my fingers so I make sure that the phyllo doesn't peel off.
Can you get sumac?
Mediterranean store, they sell it. They sell it also on Amazon. If you Google it on Amazon, SUMAC, you'll find it. Now the final brush of butter, which I could also have done. It's easier to do it before scoring, but then it sticks on my fingers when I put my fingers to hold the leaf. But it's, if you don't mind that, you can do that too. So you put the butter and then you score. It's up to you.
And then for the filling, is there any salt, pepper, or oregano in there?
Yes, salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. I forgot to put those. But the feta is salty, and I had the pepper flakes, so it should be okay. So this is the final result. Now at this stage, it's either you bake it or you freeze it. Like I said, saran wrap if you want to freeze it, making sure that it's airtight, and then double bag it again and freeze it. If you're not using Pyrex and you're using metal pan, you can bring it out from the freezer directly to the hot preheated oven. But if it is a Pyrex, I would suggest to keep it 15 minutes on the counter until the Pyrex gets a little bit to a room temperature before putting it in a hot oven.
And we have one in the oven?
Yes, let me show you the result.
So what temperature do you bake it if it's coming from frozen?
350 or 375 if it's convectional, because convection normally the temperature is a little less, but it's more dry. So 375 if you're using convection, and 350 if you're using normal baked. And this is the result of the spanakopita. I can cut out one piece here.
And can you quickly repeat the ingredients in the filling, if possible?
Yes. I just want to show you. Is that showing?
Second, please. There you go.
See, this is how it looks. I have more oomph at the top, more air and more body of filo on the top, and I have all the filling inside. And bon appetit. So the filling, again, quickly, it's 2 pounds, 2 bags of frozen organic spinach. That's what I use. Defrosted and all the liquid squeezed out of. Then I have half a cup of dill chopped, half a cup of fresh parsley, 1 cup of scallions or green onions chopped, and about 1/4 cup of olive oil, salt to taste, pepper to taste, lemon juice, and if you need more, you can add more, or you can add some sumac. If you choose to put some pepper flakes in there, that works too. And then 1 pound of feta. I love feta, so I put quite a bit of feta to enjoy it. That's all that it has inside.
And we also send the ingredients with the link, so they should have them.
Yes, and the 2 pounds of spinach, after squeezing them, they will measure around 2 cups. Because if you have fresh one, so you just, you can put it on the stove until it wilts, all the water goes down, and then squeeze it up and fill 2 cups of squeezed spinach, if it's frozen or fresh.
And then how long do you bake it for?
It takes about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on each person's oven. I like it to be kind of golden color. So after you bake it for 45 minutes, which for sure it's going to take, look at it and decide if you need it to bake a little bit more just to deepen the golden color or not.
And then can we send out the recipe after the class?
Of course, yes, definitely.
Perfect. All right, those were our questions. Any other questions? How many eggs to bind the mix?
I did not use eggs. So this recipe is eggless recipe. Some recipes have up to 4 cups. For 2 pounds of spinach, 4 cups. 4 eggs, I mean. And they do put the eggs because the egg absorbs the liquid from the spinach that leaks, the juices of the spinach. But since we squeeze the spinach out, then we don't need the egg as a binder. It adds volume, but I'd rather have more spinach and feta than eggs. eggs for me, it brings it more to a quiche kind of flavor rather than all that tangy and pungent flavors that I'm looking into.
Perfect. And then how many layers of phyllo did you use initially?
24 sheets of phyllo.
24
one package, 1 pound.
Okay, 24 total. Initially it was 9 at the bottom.
9 at the bottom and the rest on the top. Yes. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll leave you with Dimitra to show you how to do the better dish, the baklava.
Yes, we have baklava coming up. We have a short intermission where we'll just switch up our workspaces. Spotlight. Yeah, so we'll have a little bit of an introduction to the cause that we are supporting. So, Leo.
If we could hear you all applauding right now, I'm sure you would be cheering for the beautiful job that was done on this demonstration. It was very, very nice, Elsie. Thank you. I'll tell you a little bit. I'm Clea Constantine, and I'll tell you a little bit about who we are. Our organization is called the St. Peter and Paul Missions Ministry, and we joined with FILI, a charitable missions nonprofit, for this presentation. FILI is the Greek word for friend, but for us it's an acronym for Friends Improving Lives Internationally. As Nathalie mentioned in her introduction, we are here to raise support for the marvelous orphanage that is run by Sister Nectaria, our Greek, our Greek Mother Teresa. She has dedicated more than 20 years of her life to giving shelter, healthy food, and excellent education and love to homeless children who have no parents. She also feeds children from a nearby slum. These children line up every morning to get a cup of milk and a small biscuit. She provides a meal for the handicapped street people who bring a small bowl for some simple food at lunchtime. That is likely the only food that these folks will have for the day. Now, the strict COVID-19 isolation and damage from the strongest cyclone to ever hit that part of India have left the orphanage reeling and faced with costly repair needs. Sections of roof were torn off, windows were blown out, water tanks are actually missing, and trees were uprooted. You're helping the orphanage recover by participating in our demonstration today. We all thank you. The children thank you, and Sister Nectaria thanks you. For more information, see FILI-Inc.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Post pictures of your tasty creations. We would love to see them. Now, let's enjoy making one of our favorite Greek treats, baklava, with Chef Dimitra. Thank you, Dimitra.
Thank you. Just switch the camera. All right.
Okay. So hi to everybody. I'm Dimitra, and we thank Elsie for the Spanakopita. So we're going to start with the dessert, which is baklavas. So we're going to start with the syrup, and we put here 2 cups of water, and then we put it, and we pour also. I can work it.
Yeah, you want to do it on this one?
Okay, perfect. So 2 cups of water, and we pour inside 1 cup of sugar. 2 sticks of cinnamon inside and some gloves. Okay. And we wait for that to boil about 7 to 8 minutes. So when it will start boiling in a low heat.
Okay, reduce the heat.
Okay, in low heat. Then we're going to add the honey. But because the honey will start boiling after 7 minutes, then we need to defrost. So we're going to be extra careful. So until we'll wait for the syrup to be made, to boil. So we said 2 cups of water, 2 cinnamon sticks, and some 7 to 8 drops. And we're going to wait that for 7 to 8 minutes since it starts boiling. After that, we're going to put 1 cup of honey. So while I'm going to wait for that, I'm going to start layering the fillo, which is the most difficult work. And plus, as Elsie explained to you, it's a little bit tricky, and you got a surprise when you got the package. You don't know what to find inside. So that's the most important thing that can spoil your recipe. So you take that. Elsie explained to you in details how to treat the Fillo dough. And I'm keeping the Fillo dough half an hour before, so it will not get dry. So I take it out from the refrigerator for about half an hour before I will start. Before we start the Fillo dough, I will go over the filling. So for the filling, I am going to use to grind 4 cups of walnuts. You can see that it's coarse, it's not so grinded. And then I mix that with 1 cup of almonds, which are grinded also, as you can see. I add half a cup of sugar.
How many cups of almonds?
1 cup almond. 4 cups of walnuts. 4 cups of walnuts, 1 cup of almonds. So then I'm using this toasted bread. So 4 to 5 pieces. I grind it too, and I pour it here so it can absorb a little bit of the syrup, so it will come into the nuts. And finally, you can put 2 to 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, depending on how strong it is. So that's the filling for the baklava. Then you mix it up. If you like more cinnamon, you can add more cinnamon. If you like more walnuts, you can add more walnuts. So whatever is your taste. But this baklava is not so high in sugar. As you can see, it has only half a cup of sugar in the filling. And for the syrup, as you can see, it is about a cup. So for 48 pieces of baklava, I think that's the diet one.
How much cinnamon did you put in there? How much cinnamon did you put in there?
2 to 3 tablespoons full. It's how much you like it. You can see from the color. If you like it darker, you can use more cinnamon. If you like it lighter, then. So that's the filling, which is ready now. See how easy it is? Okay.
So we have a question. Was that just dry toasted white bread ground up?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's 4 to 5.
Yeah, we can show you a close-up of what it is.
It's from the Mediterranean stores also.
It's just like a toast kind of thing. Frigania in Greek.
So now we're going to start with layering the Fillo dough. The Fillo dough is, Elsie explained everything. So this is my Fillo dough. I think, do we have it so we can see it?
Yes.
And that's the tricky part because sometimes it doesn't work, but this is Fillo. Yeah.
Athens Fillo. This one's from the Greek or the International Food Bazaar.
Yes. Okay, so the Fillo is fine. As you can see, it's fresh. And now we need to start doing it fast because, oh, by the way, we have, so count 7 minutes.
Okay.
For the sugar.
So why are you counting 7 minutes?
Because after
from
7 minutes, we're going to add the honey.
Okay, so
Yeah.
7 minutes from boiling.
Yes, 7 minutes from boiling. And then
We have a timer.
thank you so much. So now we start the tough part. And this will take you from 20 minutes up to 1 hour, depending how fast you are.
And how did it feel?
We put the pressure on Elsie before, so let's see
Exactly
now.
right. So this is 12 by 18. And it will give us about 48 pieces, small ones. If you want bigger ones, then you can make it more. So now it boils. So I'm going to add the honey. It's 1 cup of
7
honey.
minutes yet?
Then
No.
Okay. We're waiting. You can tell me. So I will start
So
layering.
just don't let the syrup boil, right, too much.
Very similar.
Let it simmer.
Yeah. So now we add about 7 to 8 Fillo for the base. And
we have 2
And
questions.
I have the butter is about 10 to 12 tablespoons of butter, which is very light.
And for the Fillo, is it also number 4?
It's the same like
same.
Elsie's.
Yeah.
So,
Number 4.
yes.
And did you put a layer of wax or pastry paper on the pan first?
Exactly right. Very good question.
So we had wax paper at the bottom.
Exactly right, because I don't want to stick.
Yes.
So depending how many times you're going to make it, it will get faster. So we have 3, now that's the 4th one. Now if the Fillo is cracked, the only thing you can do is just put it in layers. It doesn't matter. Nobody can see through the baklava when you eat it. So the only thing is not to be dry at the end. So I have this, the 4th one. Okay. That's the 5th one. As you can see, it can go fast. You need to practice on this. If you paint your house, then it will be easier. 6th. And I will put 7 here. So it needs to be very well buttered. We said 10 to 12 tablespoons of butter. So this, the 7th one will be dry. So we can put the half of the filling. So half of the filling goes on the 7th or 8th, depending on which one you're going to use. Okay. And then my hands are washed because we washed it before. It's clean. And you see how you put it? And then you start put one, butter it. Well, again.
And this is so that it doesn't, when you cut it, it doesn't fall apart. Pretty much, it stays together. Why do you put the filling in between?
Oh, this is my recipe.
Oh.
You can put the whole recipe.
It's a great idea, though, so
Yeah.
that the filling doesn't fall apart. It stays more.
Yeah, so you cover this. This will be dry now, and then you put the rest of it.
So
Just to have something in between.
you put 2 in between,
Yes.
1, but butter only on the bottom 1.
Yeah, because when you put the filling, it should be on the dry side.
Okay. And then we have a question, how long do you simmer the syrup when you put the honey in? In total, how much time does the syrup simmer?
15 minutes.
15 minutes total. So
Yeah.
after 7 minutes, you put the honey, and
Yes.
then about another 7, 8.
And then we put the rest of the fillo on top. So we're lucky with the fillo because most of the time is it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the time is, we have 1 more minute to add the honey. While we're going to put the honey, although we're going to have a froth coming, it's coming up when honey is boiling, and we need to defroth it, so we need to be on top of it. These are the proteins that are they're coming, and they're we need to clean it up.
So we have about 1 minute left for the 7 minutes.
Okay, I think in 1 minute I will get probably. You see, it takes about 30 years for perfection. If you get so much time, you can start now, but you can do it more frequently because everybody loves baklava. It has the nuts and the syrup, which everybody loves. And plus, this one is very light. Yes. We're going to measure here.
How much you want?
Okay. So we put 1 cup of honey. So this is half a cup. And then okay. So this is 1 cup of honey. And now we're going to wait for that to start. Depending, of course, we can play with the temperature, but when it starts boiling, then you need to lower the temperature down because it will be all over your countertop.
So we had a question. It says, does the melted butter go in with the nuts or between the layers of dough? The melted butter goes between the layers of fillo, not in the mixture.
As you can see, I explained that when we put the filling, the fillo should be dry, not butter.
Yeah, but you don't put
The
any
rest-
butter in the filling either. Just dry ingredients.
Yes, exactly right. Only dry ingredients. And as you can see here, now the more butter you put on the top fillo, on the top seat,
Okay, so we're mixing.
You see the froth on top? This should be taken out.
Oh, we have to take out the
With
froth.
this,
Okay.
with this,
Okay, so
We have to defroth the syrup, as you can see.
So, can I tip the pot a little bit so you can see the froth? So we have, you can see in there, there's froth.
And now we're waiting for 7 more minutes. And then the syrup is ready.
We
So,
take out the froth.
We have another question. Do other types of nuts work as well, like pistachios or pecans?
whatever nuts you like. So, whatever you're going nuts with it, you can use it.
So yes, I've seen pistachio also a
Yes,
lot.
it's Middle Eastern, the pistachio. Pistachio.
Yeah, maybe the spices might change if you change the nuts. So
What spice is the cinnamon?
like
The
cinnamon.
cinnamon, yeah, with pistachios, rose water
Ah,
goes
I
really
think,
well.
yeah.
Some sugar into it, so it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could hear that very well because our microphone is on the other side, but if you do want to do pistachio, you might want to put some rose
water
Rose
and
water.
a tiny bit of sugar to stick on the pistachio seeds. And you crush them, you know, coarsely, not fine, because it gets gum when it's finely chopped. Toasted too.
Okay. So we're just finishing up here the last few layers of filo.
Yeah. So as you can see in 15 minutes, you know, yeah.
No, super.
No, super fast baklava. So that's the last one. And as Elsie
It's
can,
actually a very easy dessert.
yeah,
It is not a difficult dessert and you can make a lot.
yeah.
Yeah,
We
so
have
how much
people
would this
over.
serve? How many can you pieces cut?
48.
You can cut it in 48 if
48.
you're on a diet, or
If you're on a diet, you can eat only 2 pieces. If you're not, then you can eat 4.
You have a-
I will take all the edges.
Yes.
I like the
No,
middle.
I will use the knife. So I will, or you know what I'm doing usually? I like the end pieces here. Did you take all the fruit? It needs to be clean.
Okay.
You know why? Because we have a Greek music. Just to
Some Greek
entertain you
music
while-
ringtones.
Okay. So I'm doing that. So the last piece is here at the end. You can enjoy it if you like more filo.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. But you can cut it also if you want to look nice. For me, since we have enough butter and we said 10 to 12 tablespoons, I used here only 10.
So what's the reason that you take the froth off at the top?
Because, you know, the dead proteins in your body, in your stomach, it can cause a little bit gases. Yeah, so we don't need anybody that who eats the baklava to start. Yeah, that would be the fun part. This is, okay, so your baklava is ready, and you can see here.
Take this.
Yes. And we have 1 more minute. We're perfect timing. So, but we need to cut it now to score it. So like this. This is the first time I'm doing it. Like that. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is If you want even pieces, then you say that's the half of it, and then that's the half of it. Okay, and then you cut accordingly. So I'm going to cut in this size because I like to be small. Yeah, okay. But we don't cut it through. Elsie did it through, but for baklava, you don't cut it through. You cut it as, yeah. No, you don't find the bottom of the pan. You try. You're going to cut it at the end when it's baked and it's cold. Okay. Okay. So this. That's for the ones that they're on diet. So now you need to be careful here and place your fingers, otherwise you're going to lose the filo. This is where you're going to be careful.
So you're still not going all the way to the bottom.
Yes, still.
Okay.
You need the bottom layers to be baked. Well, so this you're doing that to give air for the filo. And there is a trick at the end which you need to make it in order to have a crunchy filo on the top. And Elsie explained to you about the butter and the water.
And do you just cut through the filo? Do you go up to the nut layer as well?
Yes, through the nut layer, but you don't cut it through it to find the bottom of the pan. As you can see, that's why I'm not, I will cut it at the end when it will be baked. Yes. Okay. And okay, so we can come in and okay, it's 48 pieces. Good job. Okay, so now we're going to, yes. So you see here what I have. I have some water. Then you put your fingers inside, and then you do that. Just to emulate it. And then you can, yeah. This is to be crunchier and to see the color of the filo when it's ready.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that, and everything is ready to put it in the oven. You can bake the whole tray in 350 Fahrenheit in convection oven, and then baking from 30 minutes to 35, depending on yours, how strong it is, the convention. Okay, you're going to see then the light brown filo. So this goes into the oven 350 for 30 to 35 minutes, and it should be exactly right baked. Otherwise, if it is not baked, the filo it gets mushy. If it is too much baked, then when you put the syrup cannot absorb it. So we can put it in the oven. Okay.
And we're gonna do a little bit of magic.
And then here we have the baklava, so ready. The syrup is ready. This is cold, so you need to wait that for 2 to 4 hours to get cold. This is super hot, and before you do that, you take again a knife and you go and cut it through. Okay, so I pre-cut it, and so you have individual pieces. So now just pour the hot syrup on top, and here the crunchiness of the filo.
So usually if you're actually making this in time, you make the syrup later while it's cooling.
Yes, I bake it, I pre-bake it, and then when it's cooled off, then I will make the syrup anytime I want to serve it. But you need to wait for 2 hours in order to be absorbed. Yeah.
2 hours after you put the syrup.
Yeah, so the filo will get. Okay, so you see it's exactly.
It smells very good. I wish I could. I wish I could transfer that to all of you.
Yeah. That's the cinnamon and everything. Okay, so now, as you can see here, there is a liquid. It's the syrup. Okay, we're going to wait for that. It goes all over, and it will be absorbed. If it is not absorbed, that this means that you overbake it.
Perfect.
And if it turns mushy, then it means that you underbake it.
We have a question. What size pan did you use?
12 by 18.
12 by 18.
By 3.
But you can have the recipe.
Yeah. You can do the half the recipe, you can have half of the amount that you're going to put on inside. But actually, you can play with whatever you want, whatever nuts you want, and what the quantities that you want.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Oh, go say any answer any questions?
We don't have any questions right now.
Should we unmute?
Can you? Yes. So can you use pistachios? Yes, you can use pistachios. You can use pistachios. You might want to switch around what else you put in there as well. How long before it's ready to eat?
This one you should wait for 2 hours, we said, but if you want to eat it because you like it hot, you can start doing it. You can start eating it now. So we'll see. So what we're going to do? You see?
How you store it?
Beautiful.
In the fridge.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's your baklava. How long you can store? You don't store the baklava inside the fridge. It's outside.
For how long? How many?
I can have it outside for 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
2 weeks outside of the fridge. And it's fine.
Yeah, but usually you don't have anything after
3 days.
3 days.
From personal experience.
From personal experience.
And if you do want, you can, after it cools completely, you can put it in a Tupperware that is freezer friendly, and put parchment paper between layers and have it for Christmas, and do it like 2 months before. And then it's, you just defrost it and it's ready to go as if it was baked the day before. I do that all the time.
And another question, can you put cold syrup on cooled baklava?
No. One should be hot.
But you can always warm the syrup.
But yeah,
It's easy to warm the syrup on the stove.
Okay.
And then
Yeah. So one needs to be hot, the other should be cold.
So if you just take out the baklava from the oven, can you put cold syrup on it if it's warm from the oven? Can you do it?
Yes, you can do it, but for me, there's more.
Yeah.
it's always good to let the baklava rest about 10 minutes before
And as you
pouring
can
the
see,
cold syrup
everything is
on it.
dry now.
Because then, it gets absorbed much better.
We'll put one here, we can put the other one there. Any other questions? We have both of our.
So you need to let it cool for how long before you put the syrup on it?
I'm using, it's,
When it's room temperature, when it comes completely cool, at it room temperature, then you can put.
or if it is winter.
That's why.
So in winter time, it can go for 1 hour, in summertime.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, just wait, and then you can see the temperature. So it needs to be cold And perfect timing for your baking.
They cannot hear you super well.
They don't. Okay, you have to be very careful when you bake it. You need to wait for 30 minutes and then to see if it takes 34 or 32, depending on your conventional oven, or the Fillo, because sometimes the Fillo is more dry or more, but you will see the color. So check the video, see the color.
Yeah, this is the color you're looking for.
Yes. And kalimos όρεξη.
Bon appetit.
Join us for samples.
Yes. Any other questions? Any other questions?
And thank you, Maria, for having us here.
Yeah, thank you
Host
for
and
that.
Elsie.
Thank
We
you.
thank you
Dimitra.
all.
Thank you,
and,
Cleo,
thank you so much
for your
all
wonderful
being here.
efforts too.
Thank you all so much for joining us. And we will send out the recipes soon, so you'll be able to recreate them if you weren't already cooking along with us at home. We also did record this. I messed up a little bit and didn't record from the very beginning, but we will try to explain what occurred in the beginning. And we'll put that video out on YouTube soon as well, so you can recreate it with us at your own time. And also, please visit FILI-yt.com. And I have put that down here. I can put it in the chat box again. And we have the crunchiness of the Fillo over here. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. But yes, thank you everybody for joining and for supporting. And we hope that you guys will try this recipe out at home and send us some pictures. So thank you. Bye.